Two officers in the hospital right now. Investigators say a former state corrections official shot a Baltimore City police officer and a Baltimore County officer when they tried to serve a warrant. Hello, everybody. I'm Denise Cope.
And I'm Vic Carter.
WJZ, of course, has been following this breaking story all day. The shooting happened around 12:30 near Sedonia Avenue and Radicke Avenue at the Garden Village Apartments in Northeast Baltimore.
We have team coverage. Kelsey Kushner is live at Shock Trauma where the officers are being treated. Paul Gessler talked to a witness, and Iva Burnett is live at a church where people can go if they aren't able to get back home.
And we start right now with WJZ investigator Mike Helgren, who is live with what we know so far. Mike?
Denise and Vic, this suspect faced multiple charges out of Pennsylvania for a violent domestic incident there. Just a few moments ago, police opened up the parking lot to this apartment complex. It had been cordoned off for some 6 hours. Now, these officers who were shot were part of a task force with federal law enforcement. They confronted the suspect, who then shot him. Two officers were shot while serving a felony warrant in Northeast Baltimore just after noon Wednesday. The suspect, identified as a former Maryland corrections official, died at the scene.
Former state corrections official who had been under investigation, who left his job, and who then had a warrant outstanding for attempted murder in Pennsylvania last night.
I would say maybe about 10.
Witnesses report hearing multiple gunshots. How many gunshots?
About like 10 to 15.
This witness tells us he recorded this video as the incident unfolded. You can see the immediate police response.
It was like 20 police in like 30 seconds.
Immediately, the chopper was the first thing that came out, and then it would just swarm different type of police officers around here.
The officers were part of a task force that partners with federal agencies, including the U.S. Marshal's Office, DEA, and FBI. State police and Maryland Transportation Authority police were also involved. Those partnerships are common, but this task force was unusually large.
Unfortunately, it turned into a fairly tragic situation with wounded police officers, but this was an example of all those agencies working together to go after a really bad guy.
Leaders say this highlights the dangers officers face on the job every day. In just the past week in Maryland, at least 6 officers were injured in the line of duty.
This is a dangerous job, but the men and women of Baltimore City, Baltimore County, and all of our state and federal agencies, we wake up every day and we go do it for the people of the city we live in.
This was frightening for neighbors here. Thankfully, no bystanders were injured in this incident. Commissioner Harrison tells us that there's only one suspect in this case. Reporting live in Northeast Baltimore, Mike Helgren, WJZ.
All right, thank you, Mike. Now, let's go to Kelsey Kushner.
She's live at Shock Trauma tonight with the latest on the officers' conditions. Kelsey.
Well, Vic and Denise, we know that both of those officers are inside Shock Trauma right now, receiving the best possible care that we could. We do know that they are both awake. They are listed as stable but in serious condition. Now, we did get the chance to speak with Governor Larry Hogan earlier today. He told us that he was able to speak with one of the officers who was in good spirits. He also said he was out here speaking with some of the family members of both of those officers. And we got an update from Dr. Thomas Scalea of Shock Trauma. He told us that, again, that both of those officers are awake. He says that one of those officers was likely saved by a tourniquet. Take a listen.
One required an emergency operation. The other is under observation. Both are awake, though still in very serious condition. At least at this point, their vital signs are stable. I will take 30 more seconds for an editorial. At least one of their lives was likely saved by application of a tourniquet applied by their fellow officers. Tourniquets save lives.
Now, officials have not yet released the name of those two officers, but I am told that they are expected to be okay. Reporting live here at Shock Trauma, Kelsey Kushner for WJZ.
Thank you, Kelsey. Now, let's go to Paul.
He's live at the apartment complex where the shooting happened. Paul.
Vic and Denise, we are on the southwest corner along Sedonia, and from everything we know from talking to neighbors, it was through here that at least one of the officers who was wounded was taken and put in the back of a pickup truck. Could have been the one that Dr. Scalia was talking about when it comes to saving that one's life. Now, we do want to show you an interview we had with one of the neighbors, and we want to run it in one of the longer formats because what he had to say was quite striking. Take a listen.
One of the officers got shot, and he went down. And, of course, I seen the suspect. He was shot up, too. And then the other officer got shot in the leg, and they picked the other officer up and put him in a pickup truck right here. And the other guy came in the ambulance. They picked him up and put him in the ambulance. The other officer got shot in the leg, I believe.
What are you thinking as all this is happening?
It's chaos. It's crazy because, I'm coming from the store, and I'm just walking through the pathway, and you get shots everywhere. I could have got shot in the head or killed or anything. I'm just normal. I live right here, and you just walking, and you see all these shots flying everywhere, and people telling you to take cover. As you look around, where you going to take cover at? It's open air, but I just thank God that I'm alive, and no kids was out here because there'd be kids out here, too, and somebody could have seriously got hurt. But due to the officer doing his job, though, he protected everybody else, that was around, the citizens and stuff, and I just appreciate that.
Now, Tracy went on to say when I asked him how many shots were fired, he said he heard about 30. Of course, memories can kind of tell you whatever you want to hear when it comes to that much. That's the highest number we've heard from all the neighbors, but that's just what he recalls hearing all that gunfire. Now, within the past 2.5 hours, a lot really has happened here. I'll rattle through some of it. The suspect's body was removed. The roads were reopened. A car was towed out of here. And then just seconds ago, as we were hearing from Tracy and relaying that to you, the fire department, who was here on scene cleaning the scene, just left as well. So things finally getting back to normal here at Garden Village Apartments. For now, that's where we are reporting this evening. I'm Paul Gessler for WJZ.
Paul, thank you. Let's go now to Ava Joy Burnett.
Yeah, she's live at a church where members of the community can go if they are not able to get back into their homes because of the police activity. Ava Joy?
That's right. Well, the church here, Mount Pleasant Community Church and Ministries, they opened up their doors earlier this afternoon to anyone who wanted a place to stay. And I spoke with a pastor within the last hour, and he told me that the doors will remain open at least until 9, just in case. We have a bird's eye view from our area right now, and we can see that the police tape it's down. There is still a mobile command unit here in the area, though. So even though we've been here for about a few hours now, there's still a small bit of police presence as things slowly get back to normal. We want to show you some video from earlier today. When I got on the scene, I spoke with a young lady who said that she came out earlier today to get on the bus. She saw all of these cop cars rushing by, did not realize that what was happening in her apartment complex just a few buildings down. I also spoke with another young man who got off of school around 3 p.m. this afternoon, said he was on his way home and had to be detoured. We were telling you guys about the public transportation that had to reroute around this area. Here's a little bit more about what he had to say about how much longer it took him to get home.
Normally it takes me 5 minutes to reach home. I have to just go right here, the apartment complex, and then get where I'll be. But today I have to walk about 20 minutes just to reach right here, and I'm about to walk about 7 minutes home.
So once again, we are here in the Mount Pleasant Community Church and Ministries. They're saying they will remain open up for anyone who may need to come here and just hang out for a little bit until things get back to normal. But we see that that is already starting to happen. The tape is down, and we're assuming right now that people will be able to go back home. Live in Northeast Baltimore, Ava Joy Burnett for WJZ.
Thank you, Ava Joy. Okay, so here is now the latest on today's police shooting. 2 officers, one with Baltimore City, one with Baltimore County, are shot, serving an arrest warrant for the U.S. Marshals. One was shot in the leg, the other in the stomach. The suspect was shot and killed at the scene in Northeast Baltimore. The officers were working with the Capital Area Regional Fugitive Task Force.